head of ITV has accused the BBC of bleating about cost-cutting while it splashes out mega moolah on US TV dramas such as Suits, which of course features the Duchess of Sussex. Now, it's been reported that the BBC outbid ITV for the series, something that ITV bosses noted was funded with the licence fee money that you lot pay them. Well, joining me now is the former BBC royal correspondent, the legendary Michael Cole. Michael, this is a story that ticks so many boxes for you. Of course, you have a huge interest in royal matters, and as a former BBC employee yourself, you're wearing that hat as well. The big question is quite simple. Should the BBC really be splashing out mega money on acquiring drama?
Good afternoon, Martin. The licence fee is the poll tax that nobody ever voted for. And if there were a referendum tomorrow, a sizable majority would be for its abolition. Now, the licence fee garners £3.5 billion a year for the BBC, and it's used some of that to bid against ITV and against Channel 4, which we should remember is owned by the government, i.e. owned by us. So the BBC uses public money to bid against these two in order to buy Suits, which is an old series. It's already been seen twice on Dave and on Netflix, and it outbids ITV. And ITV and Channel 4 have been struggling in recent days for advertising to keep afloat. Instead of spending its largesse on new programming, which is presumably what the BBC is for, it's bidding for this old programs. Unfortunately, the problem is this. BBC is the only corporation in world history that was set up not to make money, but to spend it. And it spends it in these profligate ways instead of investing in new talent in this country. And I think the head of ITV is absolutely right. It's not in the BBC's business to do this. The problem is, Martin, they are the greatest empire builders since the Emperor Trajan in AD 107, when the Roman Empire was at its greatest extent. They cannot see anything that they cannot ignore. They have to get into it. They have to dominate. And they've dominated local news as well in the regions where I live. And it's to the detriment of local newspapers. And that is very serious for democracy.
And Michael, it's worth pointing out that Kevin Lygo's ITV's managing director of media and entertainment, he complained to Ofcom about BBC doing this, saying it was an unfair use of licence payers' money, saying if they're going to be bidding for things like this, then surely it should only be if they're the lowest bidder. Driving up the price and spending taxpayers' money of something you can get elsewhere doesn't seem right.
Martin is creating a false market, and that's what essentially Lygo is saying. Instead of it being commercially decided, it's decided by somebody who has a very specialist privileged position. It's got money it doesn't earn that's coming in guaranteed by, I must say, a dwindling number of licence payers, because people aren't paying it anymore because they're going elsewhere. And without the sanction of court action sending single mothers to jail, that's actually had to stop, thank goodness, after a great deal of controversy about it. The BBC should be acting more responsibly. It doesn't add anything to the BBC's offer to the world to have Suits, which has already been seen. It should be left to the commercial stations, let them do what they do well, and let the BBC try to do what it was set up to do, to educate, inform and entertain.
And Michael, quickly, if we could, do you think that the BBC wanted this specifically because they wanted to be seen to support Meghan Markle?
It's a very interesting question. If they did, they were very misguided because her approval ratings have tanked here and in the United States in recent years for good reasons, which we don't need to go over now, but we have explored in the past on your excellent programme on many occasions.